He was killed on an argument. Where that argument took place at, no one really knows. You know what I'm saying? But he was killed during an argument. You know what I'm saying? So,
do you have any, can you give me any sense of what the argument would have been over?
Music.
This is Sharif Allen. Sharif is the founder and owner of Raggly, a website and music and media streaming app. He's from St. Louis and he knew Darren. Like Tef Poe, Sharif believes Darren's murder was related to music. He also believes he knew the specific motive.
He had a meeting with Roc Nation, but they felt like the meeting wasn't enough, and they felt like he could do more. But he was trying to tell them, like, bro, I got a job at GM, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but they ain't want to hear that. I ain't going to say their name, I don't even want to say their group name, bro. But they had a group name, you hear me, that they went by in St. Louis, and if you know who they was, then you know the group name that they went by with the music. You know what I'm saying? But if you also know, then you know them dudes either got killed or they in prison for some other situations during life because they that's who they was.
If you don't know, Roc Nation is JayZ's record label turned entertainment empire. Darren did meet one of their A&R executives. And not just any executive, but Lenny Santiago, better known as Lenny S, who had by then spent 20 years with JayZ, had personally signed DJ Khaled and others, and is a social media influencer known for taking and posting some of the most intimate photos of both JayZ and Beyonce. On August 4th, 2016, Darren posted a photograph of himself standing with Lenny S on his Facebook profile. Now, Sharif doesn't want to say the name of the group of hip-hop artists that Darren managed, and with whom Darren had that final argument. But he doesn't have to. Not only did Bodine tell us in episode 1 that the group Darren was managing was called the Bottom Boyz, it's also just easy enough to find this out by reading Darren's Facebook page. And according to Darren's Facebook post detailing the Roc Nation meeting, Lenny S had played 8 of the Bottom Boyz songs in 3 of their music videos. Darren wrote that Lenny responded well to the music and that he provided good feedback. Further down in the post, Darren wrote that, quote, I got another week and a half before I get the green light to fly to LA and we take the next step. The Bottom Boyz was a group of 3 rappers who all linked up in Castle Point. The members were Anthony Irvin, who went by the nickname Kilo, Lopez Watson Sims, who rapped as LP, and Ricky Smith, who went by LR. They have several songs posted to a SoundCloud page and several videos on YouTube. At the beginning of the video for their song Can't Go, you can see Darren driving in his Jeep with a young woman. It's likely this is one of the videos that was played for Lenny S in that meeting. Here's a brief clip of the song.
Rest in peace to God. We gon' open up that door, and we gon' blow, and we gon' blow, and we gon' blow. I know niggas who done fell out over hoes, no niggas who got back door for that blow. I can't go, even no niggas who will snake you for your pole. He's supposed to be your bro, but I can't go, and 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 I can't go.
I was curious how realistic it would have been that they were possibly going to sign Darren Seals or Bottom Boyz, or whether it was sort of like they just took a meeting and Darren and Bottom Boyz made more of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds to me like they took a meeting and they probably got favorable, responses in the meeting, but that's not necessarily an indication that a deal is guaranteed to happen. There's still a lot more process that has to take place before an actual deal is put together. So yeah. I would say you're right in your theory that it's probably more. They had a good meeting. They probably thought more of it than what it was.
This is Quayshawn Carter. He's the childhood friend of Sean Carter, aka JayZ, and he's the owner of Q Global Entertainment, where he's worked with the Yin Yang Twins, the Nappy Roots, Petey Pablo, and St. Louis rapper Huey.
From my experience, just taking one meeting, if a record label is that interested in you in the first meeting, they won't let you leave. They'll try to get the deal done before you leave. So the fact that they had the meeting and left meant that now the record company is going to go through their due diligence process, which is typically to pass on your project to the research department, who go online and start to research to find out, what exactly do you have going on, how much influence you have on the marketplace, how much the consumer following and buying into your brand awareness, and then they would make a determination on are you qualified for them to want to make an offer or not. So that's my answer to that.
Hoping to understand exactly what went down when Darren went to the offices of Roc Nation in New York City to pitch the Bottom Boyz, I asked Quayshawn what was the smartest way of going about getting in touch with Lenny S.
I would recommend just reaching out to a publicist.
Okay.
And letting the PR person reach out to Roc Nation's PR department and see if they could set a meeting up. That would be the way to do it, rather than trying to go through a homeboy or anything like that. And then when you do, you can always say, hey, I spoke to Quayshawn. He spoke very highly of you. He said you're a music guy. And those things will help him to become even more eased at having a conversation with you.
Taking Quayshawn's advice, we reached out to Roc Nation asking for a conversation with Lenny S. We heard back from the VP of Communications, Jana Fleischman, but she insisted that she would only speak with us off the record, which was obviously frustrating. After that conversation with Jana, I sent a follow-up email. My email, crafted using quotes from Darren's social media posts about his meeting with Lenny, basically asked if Darren was correct, that Lenny did hear 8 Bottom Boyz songs and watched 3 of their videos. I asked if there wouldn't have been some follow-up by Lenny or his assistant regarding a final decision by Roc Nation about the Bottom Boyz. But we never heard back.
I met Darren Seals, I want to say 2009. We actually met in the halfway house.
This is rapper and activist T-Dub-O.
How I met him was one night, late night, I'm hearing a conversation. And I could tell somebody is not talking to somebody inside the dorm. It's a phone conversation. So I see him and he has a cell phone. So I'm like, bro, how you get that in here? He said, I'll show you tomorrow. I had a baby on the way at the time, my first son. So I wanted to stay in contact with the mother who was my fiance at the time. And he showed me how to get the phone in there, and that established our relationship.
Darren was in that halfway house as part of the condition of his probation, stemming from a 2007 conviction for the distribution of cocaine.
Well, how does he end up doing work with Bottom Boyz, and how does that affect the relationship? What was going on there?
I think he started to see how political the St. Louis music scene was. And he believed in so much the people around him. And he saw the roadblocks that others that came before us were put up for artists that wasn't in their circle or they didn't vouch for. And he didn't really want to be a part of it. So he just wanted to help others. And he met some people, from his neighborhood, young guys, that, they out, running the street, making them same mistakes that we made when we was that age. But they got talent. And, he see them and he just want to help them, get out of the situation that they is. He want to push them. So he get behind them. He stopped rapping really altogether, so he wasn't even rapping with Tank and Ron G, even though they were still making music as DOA. D-Boy wasn't, he wasn't making any music. So he get the young guys, he start pushing them as management. And in regards to rap and hip hop, the industry will extort you and take advantage of you if you don't know the proper things. And it was certain things that I was trying to explain to him that I didn't want him to make the mistakes on in regards to wasting time and money. For instance, you will get people that are connected to A&Rs or used to be A&Rs that will tell you, oh, well, if you pay me this amount of money, I can walk you in to have a meeting with the record label. And when you're young, you make those mistakes because you're hungry. You just want to get out the ghetto. You got the talent. You like, what, fuck it, I'll pay this. I just want a chance. I want to change my life. I want to get out the streets. I want to help my people get out the streets. You would take those chances. Me, I was blessed to have some people around me at a young age that educated me about how those scams operate. So it was a particular situation that Darren was extremely excited about. And he was supposed to have a meeting with Roc Nation for Bottom Boyz up in New York. And I tried to explain to him, I said, look, bro, if a record label wants you and they're interested in speaking with you and doing business with you, first and foremost, they're not going to make you buy your own flights. They're flying you out. They putting you in a hotel. They feeding you. And it wasn't clicking for him. In his mind, it's like, oh, bro, like you hating on the opportunity. Now I'm trying to educate you. And I think he gassed up the young men to the point to where they really thought they was going to go out there and get a deal. They fly out to New York. They have a meeting, allegedly, and nothing ever happens from it. So I think his relationship with them started to sour because he was saying that they were going to do all these things, but they're not really understanding the work, the connections, the money you got to put behind. They not really understanding how this business works. It's not going to be an overnight thing, especially coming from St. Louis. It's damn near like you trying to get struck by lightning on purpose.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
What you're looking at is the aftermath of the grand jury deciding not to indict Officer.
29-year-old Darren Seals was murdered before his killer set his car on fire.
Once they put out the flames, they discovered Seals' body inside with a gunshot wound.
He pointed guns on me and my 14-year-old little brother, it's Ferguson PD. Grabbed me by my hair, slammed me out the car. He said you might want to pick your enemies better.
This is After the Uprising, Season 2, The Murder of Darren Seals.